Here we go. We got a special guest in the motherfucking building.
Let's go. Let's get it.
What's going on, everybody, man? And welcome to the very first episode of The Truth, where not all Eagle fans agree on everything. And this is definitely the spot where this shit about to go down.
Oh yes, able. Oh yes, I'm stable. Oh yes, no label. Oh yes, you know me. I have only the best. I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going.
This is why we started this, because of you. We started this. I'm tired of listening to your, fantasy that you living in right now. Always talking about, damn it, you know, until proven otherwise. BS!
I'll be number one, working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah. Fatal like a gun.
You know what I mean?
Hey, I was pretty close last year. We could have easily won those 3 games.
So I gotta get through it, and the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing.
Right? Did not beat ourselves those 3 games?
Look, we lost.
Never listen to the no's. I just wanna get moving. Yeah, I put it hard as hard. It's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed. Feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in.
Yes, sir, buddy. Buddy. OTAs is on day 2. What's today? We back with the Troop episode 27. We got a special guest in the house, Mr. Philly Mike in the building. How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm glad to be on The Truth. It's been a minute. It's been busy out here for me, but never not wanting to talk birds. And OTAs are about to get heated up. Today they were off. Tomorrow, I believe there's going to be live reporting there, so it should get real interesting quickly.
How's everybody doing?
Hey, look, man. Hey, Mike, thank you for coming on, man. Hey, it's been a long time. I know you're a busy man. I did see that Darius Slade interview, man. That was a good one, yo. I love it, man. Right there. Yeah, yo, hey, keep doing your thing, man. And I mean, hey, you are truly one of the reasons why I started this, you and 500, man. So keep doing your thing, man, and appreciate you for jumping on.
So, Mike, man, tell me, how do you feel about this offseason, man? The draft, the free agency, all this stuff. Like, how do you feeling about it right now? Give us your opinion about it.
Well, I think the Eagles organization did a great job addressing the needs via free agency and the draft. Like, you didn't have to force a linebacker early because you at least got Devin White in the house. You're able to sit back and get a guy like Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who's a fan favorite, beautiful addition to the team. But overall, just the star power that was added. You go back and get C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who was missing from this defense, added 2 wise and playmaking ability. The Eagles just weren't getting turnovers last year. They weren't really doing anything by the midpoint of the season. You change coordinators, which again, nobody talks about around this time because it's old news. That was the first major change right after the season. But I still think when we start to see things really change and go positive for the Eagles in this upcoming season, it's due to the coaching staff, Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. And so it's not popular to talk about it now because Saquon Barkley happened after CJ. You get the two best defensive backs in the draft and Cooper DeJean / Quinyon Mitchell. So it's not cool to talk about the coaching staff, but I think that right there is one of the most underrated parts of the offseason. But Howie Roseman, from again, your coaching staff to your rookies, to your free agent signings, to keeping guys, the cultured guys, Malata, Reed Blankenship, Smitty, AJ, and plenty of more, was just terrific. People are still trying to figure out how did Howie Roseman do it, and the world may never know.
Howie's Howie, baby, the king of the cap, the king of the draft. Howie has been the best GM in football for a minute now. You got to respect that. You know what I'm saying? Tell me, first round pick, man, Quinyon Mitchell. I talked to this guy at Senior Bowl. he is, he was confident, but very like calm about his confidence, like kind of like that Jalen Hurts, Smitty type approach. And I was like, man, I don't even know when you're gonna get drafted for real, for real. And then it seemed like right after the Senior Bowl, everybody's like, this guy's going first round, this guy's going first round, And I was like, how's some guy from some small school, that is gonna go first round to anybody, let alone the Eagles. And the Eagles went up there and got him. How do you feel about Quinyon? What kind of impact you think he's gonna make on the team?
I really believe that the Eagles were gonna get him just due to the fact that what's his name? Tony Pauly what was reporting that was the guy we wanted. If we move up and or if both of them are there, Quinyon Mitchell and what was the dude who went to the Lions?
But Terrion Arnold,
we would get Quinyon. I like them both. I agree that odds are the player from the bigger school who play better competition, blah blah. Odds are he has a better chance to have a low bust factor. But there's just something about Quinyon's tape that just stands out. It was something about the way he moves his paws, hips, gets out of his breaks. I think in a Fangio system, you need that. And I think what's more important that not many people talk about is Quinyon Mitchell's eyes, right? I think that Gate City said it from the grip. I think he thought that Quinyon and DeJean had the best eyes of the DB room. Not saying DeJean was way better than Terrion Arnold, but eyes. And I think that's important in a Fangio system where he is going to play off coverage a little bit. You're going to see, you won't see it like maybe as much, like as frequent 10 yards off the ball, but you will see some scenarios like that. And it's up to your playmakers to know when to jump, when not to. But I love the pick. Like I said, I did not see that coming. I did not see him being there.
I mean, and the worst part, the best part is that we didn't even have to move. Like, we didn't have to do nothing. Like, that's the reason why I didn't want DB in the first round, because I'm like, yo, what would we have to give up to move up to get one of those two DBs? Like, I mean, is it worth it? And then if we do trade up, you have to start them. Like, you can't trade up, give up draft pick, give up your future picks to sit them on the bench. You have to play him.
But he gonna ride Pine this year.
But once he fell down to the Philadelphia Eagles,
this year
without no reach. And matter of fact, look, all right, let's put this out there right now. Since Birdgang keeps saying that,
Pine this year.
So the last show, we did a little side bet. All right, because I think that Mitchell will start on the outside. I don't think that Bradbury will be on this team post June 1st, and I think that Mitchell will start. But BG thinks that Bradbury will be on this team and Mitchell will be starting at nickel. What is your thought on that? If anything, where would he start?
I didn't even say he was going to start at nickel.
Yes,
I just said he wasn't going to start at all.
Yes, all right. He ain't going to start at all.
He's going to play. I don't say he's going to be in the game. I'm not going to say they're going to get him on the field. But I'm saying he's not going to start this year.
Jersey on this deal right now.
First game of the season, though. Just keep it real. It's the first game of the season. I'm saying from the jump, he's not starting. Vic Fangio's an old school coach. He wants some veteran players to help run his scheme. We weren't saying this about Bradbury 2 years ago when he was All-Pro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we weren't all down on Bradbury when he was All-Pro. So he had a bad year, but guess what? Everybody on the goddamn team had a bad year last year. When that slump came, I said it numerous times. I don't think anybody should get a pay raise this year. No one, from fucking Smitty to AJ to nobody, should have got a pay raise this offseason because of the way they played at the end of that season last year. That was disheartening to be an Eagles fan and watch every single game. Your team looked like a Pop Warner football team. You know what I'm saying? Was horrible. And I didn't think none of them deserved more money. The Eagles went out and paid more money. That's cool, whatever. But I'm just letting you know, like, I feel like Fangio's an old school coach. He has old school traditions. Bradbury understands what happened to him last year. Bradbury understands that he was the weakest link out of the weakest link in terms of all the defensive players looking like ass last year. And I think that he's going to end up starting this guy because you heard Howie Roseman come out there and talk about you know, how Bradbury understands that he needs to play better. Bradbury understands, you know, he's keeping Bradbury. Bradbury's their guy, and all this stuff in his little press conference to the point where I don't even care that we signed Quinyon Mitchell. I don't care if we signed. These guys need time to develop. You know, Quinyon Mitchell played on like what?
I want to hear what Mike have to say. I already hear your diarrhea
from against nobody that's worth
BS from last time. Y'all want to hear that crap again, man? Well, you said the
okay,
same.
Okay. We got a special guest. We look at Mike.
What do you got to say, Mike?
Counter me, Mike. Tell me why Quinyon deserves a start.
I mean, again, I'm definitely okay with the take that Bradbury shouldn't be on the roster, like what he did last year. If he would be a June 1st cut, I'm not complaining, but I also have been a little lenient to Bradbury due to the collapse of the whole team last year, right? Like he got cooked in a lot of one-on-one situations. They forced him inside early in the season. He got hurt. Like he was playing a game that doesn't fit his game. And so I think we hindered him a lot. That being said, you draft two defensive backs, whether DeJean is a corner or a safety or a nickel, he's a defensive back. You lit the fire under both Slay and Bradbury that the inevitable truth is y'all going to be replaced. Maybe not right now, but soon. Slay, I think, is safe due to this year just because he's our best corner. And I think it really is Slay's last year. When I had Slay on, we talked a little behind the scenes, and he said on other podcasts too, like his cap hit, like the same thing that happened going into 2023 where go check if you can get a deal, blah, blah, blah. It's going to happen again, but this time we're not going to match it like the same way. Why? You got Quinyon, whether he plays or not, he'll be going in a year two. DeJean will be going in a year two. There's no way Slay's staying with the Eagles unless he just takes a discount. And with him getting up there in age, I think he's going to maximize his ventures, and I think it's his last year. Bradbury, on the other hand, we signed him for what? I believe it was not this offseason, last offseason for what? 3 years? Was it 2 years or 3?
3 years.
So 3 years, that means he got this year and next year on his contract, and he's getting paid pretty hefty. So with the tape he put on last year, I don't know how many teams want to trade for a guy like Bradbury. But again, an organization could say the Eagles misused him big time last year. We play more of a zone scheme. We're gonna do this, that, and the third. Oh snap! We injuries happen. I mean, we moved off of Bradford for a first-round pick due to the quarterback for the Vikings getting hurt. So, I'm not wishing nobody to get hurt, but say a contended team loses their starting corner, preseason, training camp, they might knock on the door of the Eagles for Bradbury. So we'll see then.
But do you think Bradbury starts week 1?
Yes, and so my final take is, week 1, I would it'd be tough. If I had to like really bet, I would say that Bradbury's on this team and he's gonna have a role in week 1, but how much longer? Like, here's the thing, not even if Bradbury's bad, but Quinyon will play. He'll get some snaps, whether it's in Bradbury a breather, like they'll use it as breathers, but they're going to play him. There's no way they're going to just let him ride the pine. So how long until he proves he deserves it? You know what I mean? Now, look, Jalen Carter came in as a rookie and showed he should have got more snaps. Now, was he up to the task to get more snaps, whether his condition or whatnot? And we had a great rotation, and you rotate your D-line regardless. Yeah. But it's going to be hard for me to sit back and watch or believe that Bradbury is going to be able to hold Quinyon, who the best corner in the draft. Normally, like, go over the past couple of years. The best corner in the draft the last couple of years are not just the best corner in the draft. They become dogs. They become top 10 corners. And so even if Bradbury is playing right now, Bradbury is the 32nd corner in the NFL. Actually, 56 now because there's 2 corners. So last year's Bradbury was like number 61 out of 64 starting corners, right? So, you know, if Quinyon's showing top 10 talent, it's going to be hard for Bradbury to hold it off. But if you're telling me week 1, $100, who's out there? he might be Bradbury. I don't know. And that's why camp is so important. And not just these OTAs. This is just the foundation. I called it the appetizer. But training camp, joint practices with the Patriots and preseason, it's gonna be epic. But again, I think they're going to at least throw the ball to Bradbury's court and say, show us what you got. But if Fangio's watching him get burnt in his scheme, he's like, bro, I got this young 4'3", 6'1" physical dude. Sorry, Brad. You know? So I think it's inevitable that Quinyon is playing this year, but week 1 is hard for me to say. But I've said on my own stream, Quinyon is going to take over this year, some way, somehow.
Now, I didn't say Quinyon wasn't going to take over at the end of the year. Our bet is for game 1. Game 1. That was our bet. Is a game 1 that Bradbury will be starting. Listen, I watched Quinyon tape. I seen what the boy could do, you know, and I do question, can you do it against the upper elites? You know, can you do it against the NFL type talent, right? But at the end of the day, he is good. You know what I'm saying? But my argument was like this, Mike. Tell me if you agree with this or not.
He doesn't.
Patrick Surtain, right? All the elite, Sauce Gardner, all the elite cornerbacks that came out, right? These guys were drafted top 12 for a reason. You know what I'm saying? They're drafted top 12 for a reason because they were elite cornerbacks. This guy wasn't even a first defensive player off the board for 1. And for 2, he went 22 in the first round draft. Now tell me, do you take a 22 pick, you know, compared to a top 12 pick? NFL organizations understand eliteness, you know, and that's why Patrick Surtain is who he is. That's why everybody would love a Patrick Surtain team.
Hold on.
Compared to a guy like Quinyon Mitchell that's drafted 22 overall.
J.C. Horn was drafted before Patrick Surtain.
J.C. Horn's not elite.
Well, he was drafted before Surtain.
Elite.
No. What I'm saying is, though, look.
I'm saying J.C. Horn's like second tier.
But this is what I'm saying. J.C. Horn was drafted before Patrick Surtain, so that means organizations made a mistake. Patrick Mahomes was the 15th overall pick. He was drafted after Mitchell Trubisky. Like, teams make mistakes, and I will say this: one reason I'm okay with a 22nd, and first of all, there were discussions, real analytical discussions, that he'd be taken at 12. And the Eagles should move up there, right? That sweet spot that you said. That being said, we didn't have to. But we've never seen a draft where 6 quarterbacks went in the first 12 picks. That never happened. So at least it's like if you do want to get a corner that you're claiming to be top 10 talent-wise, you better have a broken record in that draft. That's never happened before.
Okay, so J.C. Horn, I give you that. I give you J.C. But think about the rest of them. Patrick Surtain, Sauce Gardner, those guys were elite. You knew coming out in the beginning that these guys were not going to make it past 10. You know what I'm saying? You knew these guys weren't going to make it past, you know, the top 12.
But team also, again, guys, though. But team needed those guys.
How many quarterbacks were drafted in that draft? People move mountains for quarterbacks. And let me just say this, though. Again, there's a reason why, not just the mocks that we do for fun, but there was a reason why a lot of people said the only way you get him is if you move up. Yep. And the board fell differently. Again, I'll say it like this. You know, Justin Jefferson got picked after Rager, and he was up in the 20s. So, like, look, what I'm saying is, you can be picked in the 20s and be good. You could be picked in any round and be great.
I'm not saying he can't be good, but I'm just talking about like I don't know how people don't understand it. Like Sauce Gardner, the Patrick Surtain, those guys were elite in college. That's why they got drafted. It didn't matter if there were 20 quarterbacks getting drafted ahead of them. They wouldn't have got drafted ahead of them because they knew that teams knew that they cannot pass this guy, as opposed to, you know, a Quinyon Mitchell, where a lot of teams did pass the guy. He wasn't even the first defensive guy off the board. That's the difference. It's a small difference. I'm not saying that just because he was 22, he's not going to be great. I hope he is great. He's on the Eagles. I hope he is great. But I'm saying in terms of like a top tier type corner that everybody trying to make this guy to be, it's like there's no guarantee that that's going to happen either.
Well, he was a top corner in the draft. Let's say that. Maybe again, you could grade draft classes like this draft class wasn't as good as the Sauce Gardner one, or it's not as good as the Patrick Surtain one. You can make that claim, and we will see how it plays out. All that being said, again, Stingley was supposed to be the big dog. Over Sauce, school, LSU, Cincinnati. I mean, like, we're not arguing Terrion Arnold versus Quinyon. I understand what you're saying, BG. He fell. Whether it's the right thing or the wrong thing, we'll find out really soon. But not only did he fall, the team that do not draft DBs drafted him. There's going to be stock in that. Howie's going to want to see his guy play, but also with that paycheck, Howie's going to want to see Bradbury play too. So like I said, if he's on the roster come the season, I think he's going to be starting at least week 1. But again, my final take is if James Bradbury's here when we run out the tunnel in September, he's playing game 1. But if he's not here, then JC automatically.
Yeah, I'm saying if he's here, he's definitely playing. That's my deal.
If he gets cut June 8th, then you already got to Venmo that to him. It's a wrap. He's scabsy.
That's true. And hey, the GOAT Mitchell, I understand what you're saying. Sauce Gardner came from a small school, but Cincinnati's way more recognized than Toledo. Okay, let's just keep it real. Jason Kelce, the best center of all time. Travis Kelce, the best tight end of all time. They came from Cincinnati. Cincinnati is way more publicized in a school like Toledo. So I get what you're talking about, small school stuff. I'm just keeping it real in terms of talking about, freaking this guy came from Toledo. And like I said, I'm not trying to down the guy. Like, he's an Eagle now, and I hope the best for him. But like I said, I do believe that Bradbury, if he's not cut June 1st, like you said, if he's cut June 1st, I can tell you I'm going to have to bite the bullet and do it.
Marshawn Lattimore was drafted what, 16 or 19?
Who?
Marshawn Lattimore.
I don't know about Lattimore. I'm talking about like Sauce Gardner, like
I'm just thinking of.
Also, you see the thing about BG is if the Eagles had draft Terrion Arnold, he wouldn't be saying that. He would not be saying that.
To be honest, who I wanted was drafted right after him. Who I wanted was drafted the next.
He's biased because of the school.
I wanted Mother Humping. What's his name? What's it from Alabama? Kool-Aid. I wanted Kool-Aid. He was drafted the very next pick.
He's biased. He's biased. He's Alabama all the way, roll tide. So we understand. So your opinion doesn't even matter.
Exactly. BG won a lot to. The fact that the team, I thought Howie, if you wanted to make a power move, you would have drafted, traded up and got Latu.
He was the first defensive player off the board.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because I said that dude's the truth. And obviously, NFL GMs agree with me.
I thought he was the best pass rusher in the draft. I know a lot of people liked what's his name? I forgot his name. The dude who went like right in front of us.
What school?
Can't remember now.
It wasn't Chop.
No, not from Penn State.
Robinson? Denorius Robinson or something like that?
Somebody in the chat. Dallas Turner. There it is. Yeah. A lot of people were saying he was a little bit better than should have went before Latu. I thought Latu was the best pass rusher in the draft. I thought that maybe his injury history would push him back, but when he went, look, I mean, all I know is the board fell for us twice. I mean, what are we going to hear? BG, you got something to say about Cooper DeJean?
I do got something to say about Cooper DeJean, to be honest with you. I do got something to say about Cooper DeJean. I do like the guy for real. I ain't even stunned. Like, I like both of them. And in fact, listen, I said what made up for it was the fact that you didn't just get Quinyon, that you got Cooper too. You know what I'm saying? So one of them got to pan out. You know what I'm saying? One of them, you got the two top corners. One of them got to pan out. But my thing was not really a slight on either one of them. It's just like that the talent compared to other years in terms of cornerbacks was not the same. That everybody tried to put it like they were the same style quarterback, the same caliber quarterbacks as before they got drafted early in the drafts. And I was telling you that they're not the same caliber cornerbacks, but they are good cornerbacks. They're not the same caliber cornerbacks, though. And I like both of them. Like, both of the guys are good. Like, I ain't gonna stun on it. But I'm just saying they're not elite. Like, I don't feel like either one of them are elite.
I mean, hey, we just got to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean,
but look,
we'll
the Eagles have 19 DBs on this team right now. 19. When I say DBs, that's corners and safety. 19 of them. I think we got about like 6, 7 safeties and about 12, 13, cornerback. So a lot of them are not going to make it. So who would you like to see, or besides the Mitchell and the Cooper, who else? Like, what other DB that you feel like, okay, after Slade Bradbury is gone, should be on this team and even have a good shot to start this upcoming season?
Yeah, it's for the safeties, I would like to see, again, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Reed Blankenship, Sidney Brown, and I believe that Cooper DeJean is a future corner for the Eagles for sure. But I mean, right now, if we're trying to maximize 2024, I think if he plays safety and or nickel, it maximizes the talent on this team, because right now you got Slade, Bradbury, Quinyon, and Ringo, all guys that I'm not mad to see. And again, I would put Dean over Ringo just because of his draft status and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But like, that's the thing. I think we're so deep at outside. If you move him to a different position, you could just maximize playmakers on the field. Like, I would love to see eventually, say whenever Bradbury hands it over, like if you can give me a Slade, Quinyon, Dean, CJ, and Reed Blankenship and or Sidney Brown, if that is your 5 DBs on the field, I'm loving it. Not saying that Isaiah Rodgers, if he plays in the slot, can't get some snaps, or Avonte Maddox, he got to stay healthy. But I just think that it maximizes the talent if you move him at nickel or safety on his first year. That being said, if I had to keep, I would keep the I would at least. All right, let me just say like this. I'm going to do it right now. The Eagles got DeJean as a corner, so it doesn't matter what I want, right? If they're going to treat him as a corner, how many corners did we keep last year?
Well, we had like 6 or 7.
6 or 7.
We had Joe, Bradbury. Of course, Maddox was there, but he got hurt. But we had to play a lot, because we had to play a lot of corners because Slade missed some time.
Bradbury, Roby, Maddox, Job, Ricks. So like 6. So I think this year you got to go heavier. I think you should keep 7. Again, we know the Eagles always go heavy with keeping offensive linemen. We keep defensive linemen. I think you might have to sacrifice a running back, sacrifice a linebacker. You got to sacrifice somewhere. We don't even got that many. No matter, we don't got to sacrifice linebacker. We don't got that many to bring in the roster anyways. So,
we ain't sacrificing the linebacker. That's for sure. That's for sure. Man, we gotta find the linebacker, man. We find a linebacker.
Receiver.
Yeah, you gotta do something. I think you gotta keep 7 DBs, and if you do keep 7 DBs, and we're counting DeJean as a cornerback, let's say, I'm gonna say Slay. See, Bradbury's so hard because
he's not going to be
the team. But think about it, Mike. For real, he's the most experienced out of all these cats. Obviously, if he sucks so bad, but Rich can start over him. Job can start over him. Ringo can start over him. He was still that good to the point where he was still on the field.
Hey, remember what Howie say at the end of the season, right? He said that, yes, we have a lot of young guys that we need to see on the field, right? When people was asking Nick Sirianni, do you prefer to start, veterans over guys? Howie, I'm telling you, want to see his young draft picks on the field. I understand the whole Bradbury thing. I do, but just like Mike said, training camp is going to be a battle. Linebacker position is going to be a battle. The DB position, with your corners, your safeties. I mean, with Sidney Brown, is he healthy enough? Is he going to be a starter week 1? There's a lot of unknowns, and that's why defense is going to be the most important part of this team. This all-season training camp. Yeah, offense is pretty much set, right? Besides the slot wide receiver, okay, we got it. But defense-wise, this is going to be, hey, Bradbury, Slay to me, there's nobody's job is safe because it all depends what Vic Fangio wants and what he wants to run. I mean,
that D line too. Too.
Exactly. So it's going to be the whole defense is up for grabs right now.
Yeah, because like right now you paid Bryce Huff, so he's the guy you paid. You believe in him.
Yeah.
But if by week 3 Nolan Smith has, you say week 3 Bryce Huff got a sack and Nolan Smith got 3. You don't think he's gonna start cutting into his PT? You know what I mean? So things along that line. I think the defense has a lot of questions, but they're good questions because of the potential on there. So I think we have a lot of questions, but I'm liking the ingredients for the cook Fangio to make something happen, right? Like, I ain't never tasted food. I don't know how it's gonna be, but there's a lot of good stuff on the table. It better taste good when it's all said and done.
And when it comes to Fangio, do you think because the last 3 years we had coordinators that were under the Fangio tree, right, that him coming in this year should be seamless, really? Because it's not like he has to start from scratch. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's had 2 different coordinators come in there running versions of his system, and now he is the generator that has the system. He's gonna come in here and just put the fine touches on the system. Because people act like, I know there's people that question the system at all, but even JG, and I was one of the guys that was standing up for JG in terms of one thing. We were historical on defense with JG.
Pass defense,
regardless of how much we sucked and we hated him, we were historical with him. We had the most sacks ever, by Eagles team. We were freaking, you know what I'm saying? Like,
number one in pass defense and number 1 in pass defense and over 70 sacks. But again, what Eagle fans are going to remember is the selling in the Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
But it's like, which version are you going to get with Fangio is what it is. Like, you had this historical defense with Fangio, but then you had the side.
Fangio was in the building too. Remember that?
Yeah.
JG's second year, Fangio was his advisor.
Yeah, but Vic also said that he was focusing on the offense, right?
Yeah, that was a shock when he said that. That tripped me out.
He was
that year, to
go against the Chiefs' defense. So, but do you think that the Eagles have the players to run a 3-4 and be successful at it?
It all depends on, again, the utilization of then Nolan Smith, Bryce Huff, Josh Sweat included, how they will use guys like Zach Bond, Okurar, Trotter, because like Trotter could blitz. He was blitzing. He was a heavy blitz saved linebacker at Clemson. Again, you're not going to have him on the edge blitz, but it depends how you have your 5-man fronts, your jokers. I think Nolan Smith could be comfortable rushing off the edge like that. So depending on how they want to do that, I think we have the bodies. Again, when you see 3-4, that means it's going to be 3 down linemen, and most of them are going to be D tackles. And so you have your big nose in Jordan Davis. You got Milton Williams on one side. You got Jalen Carter on the other side. Now, playing that nonstop means they got to play a lot of snaps.
Yeah.
Can they handle it? And if not, do you trust Marlon T, Jomo? Maybe then if you're playing 3-4, you do keep 5 defensive, 5 or 6 D tackles and keep I think Gabe Hall's going to make the roster, not just because he won a push-up battle, but because I like his tape out of Baylor. That being said, BG can play inside a little bit. You do a couple different stunts, whatnot. Again, we grab some side pieces that nobody you're talking about, really. The Zach Bonds, the Okuwara, and Okurum, Oren Burks. That we could be successful because again, you need a nose tackle to anchor a 3-4, and we got one. Yeah. Now he's slimming down, and people like that. But if he's really going to be utilized as a nose this year, he shouldn't be slimming down.
That's what I want to talk about too. Like, I think people been overblowing this whole Jordan Davis thing. I think they're like reaching really far on this whole Jordan Davis thing. They're mad at him because he doesn't have all these sacks. Jordan Davis is not the guy. You guys remember we got a guy called Fletcher Cox, right, that just retired, right? Fletcher Cox only had double-digit sacks how many times in his career? You know what I'm saying? Twice in his whole career. But he's an all-pro because he stops the run. That's the same thing as Jordan Davis. He's the same type of guy. we're expecting him to get all these sacks, and he's been plugging the hole ever since he's been there.
Well, here's the thing. Honestly,
like when Jordan, his first rookie year, right? Until Jordan Davis got hurt, we were top 5 in run stuff in defense, right? He got hurt. We had to go get Sue. We had to get Linval. Howie Roseman waited a couple weeks before he even got those guys because he wanted to see what the defensive line was going to do without him, right? And then he went and got these guys. Now we did a little bit better, but we still weren't top 5. Then you talk about last year, Jordan Davis up to the collapse of everybody else.
But see, hold on real quick. Linval and Sue are totally,
dude. Like he's not this guy that's gonna be a fucking 6 to 10 sack guy. He's a guy that's gonna plug the hole. Villa was all pro and Pro Bowler because of the fact that he clogged the hole, he stops the run, and that's all we should be expecting out of Jordan Davis. We should be expecting this guy to get double-digit sacks. And I think everybody got him misconstrued and think that that's what he's supposed to do. That's why everybody's hating on him because he's not getting these double-digit sacks, and I don't like that because his dude's a giant. You know what I'm saying? He's a giant, and he does his job when he is in there. Did he even came out and manned up last year at the end of the year? Yeah, I gassed out. But you got to realize we came off a Super Bowl run, short off season, and he went straight back into it. We were 10-1.
Yeah, well, look, let me just say this. I don't disagree. Again, I would like to see his best years have about 5-6 sacks on his best year. That is what you would see if you go look at a Vince Wilfork, a guy who was 300 plus pounds, 350, Linval Joseph's best years, 6-something sacks. I'm okay with that if you're doing your job as a nose, eating up blocks to let little Nakobe Dean, little Jeremiah Trotter, who are smaller guys. Like, do you understand why Nakobe Dean won the Buckets Award at Georgia? Because he had Jordan Davis in front of him doing what he needed to do. Because I'm a big Nakobe Dean guy, but the one thing that I seen on tape in a little sample size is he doesn't get off blocks as well because of his size. But if you have Jordan Davis doing what he does, it's going to help Nakobe Dean out. Now, I'm not saying you need him here forever just because we got Nakobe Dean. We need a part in them, but that will help. I agree. But when you say Fletch was never a nose. Like Fletch, first of all, for a D tackle to get double-digit sacks, it's not easy. It's not easy. Think about it. Like, there's not many people, not many D tackles do that. Shout out to the rookie for the Rams. I forgot his name that did do that this year. But Hargrave, Fletch, a couple years. It's not easy to get double-digit sacks as a D tackle because your job is you're asked to stop the run, you're asked to clog up holes, and as a nose, you get even more responsibility to do that and take on double teams. So I'm with you. I think it's not about his size; it's about his conditioning because Vince Wilfork was. The dude was 350 his whole career, but he never got gassed out. Vita Vea does not lose weight, but he don't get gassed. So you can be a big dude and be in good enough condition to play. Now, again, I think Milton Williams is going to have a different role in a 3-4 defense. I think we're really going to use Jordan Davis for the first year the way he's supposed to be used. And I think you're going to utilize Milton Williams in a way that he's been asking for. Because when me and LB had him on, like he loves when he's asked to rush the passer, but his gap responsibility on film a lot of the times is to stop the run because he's good at it too. And it was a 4-3 defense, not a 3-4. So I think, unsung hero might be Milton, and it's not going to be like he's better than Jordan Davis because he got more sack. It's they work good together in a 3-4, and people are going to start to put respect on Jordan Davis's name if he can stay ungassed, but do what he needs to do because it's going to move bodies. And when you see clean sacks for your linebackers, clean sacks for the other interior guy named Jalen Carter, who I think is going to be the next D tackle to get double digit sacks.
People are forgetting about one guy
rather than later.
Mike, they're forgetting about the guy we picked up from Denver. What's his name? Like Humphreys or something like that. That dude's a big nose tackle too. You know,
play behind Jordan.
Yeah, he's gonna be behind Jordan. Like everybody think Milton Williams, like Milton Williams not gonna be behind Jordan this year.
No, he's gonna be alongside of him.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's Jordan Davis' backup. And I think that the more people pressure this guy to go out there and lose more and more weight, like we've seen the pictures, you know what I'm saying, where he slimmed down some more. And I am saying he shouldn't slim down a little bit. But hey, you want this guy to, Villa Vea, no one came out and said Villa Vea needs to slim down. No one came out and said, Wolford needs to slim down. They did their damn job. You know what I'm saying? And I think the Eagles fan put too much pressure on this boy.
Oh, it's not us, man. Outside media.
To get sacked when he's been doing his damn job. Like, yes, he does need to come from the college pro where he wasn't asked to slim down. He wasn't asked to do nothing but play like, half the snaps, because you played on a Georgia team that was national champions and they had enough talent to go in and rotate with. You know what I'm saying? When he got to the Eagles, yeah, you need to play a little bit more, but you still had a Fletcher Cox that was going to play. You still had other guys that are going to play, and now people to put all this pressure on this boy, he don't went and slam down. That could be detriment to a team. It's just like taking a running quarterback and trying to make him a passing quarterback. To me, that's what I feel like.
Well, let me ask you this: if he's getting gassed by week 8 in year 3, then it's a concern.
But that wasn't week 8 last year. He got gassed after he chased down Josh Allen, and that was week 11.
Week 9. All right, 2 more games.
That was before the collapse. And that was before the collapse. It was 10-1.
Man, he put a lot of effort in that goddamn play. You can't say that everybody in Eagles Nation wasn't standing up on their feet for him.
That was after Thanksgiving.
Running 100 miles per hour.
That's what it is. Now we know what it is. After Thanksgiving, Jordan Davis can never get back. Now we know. No.
All right. Hey, let's get to the offense real quick. All right, so what are you most excited about this offense to see this upcoming season with the new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore? What do you want to see, or what do you think is going to happen? And how good can this offense be? Can it be all-time great with all the talent we have? With Dallas Goedert, I think it's going to be a Pro Bowl this year, but I want to hear your thoughts, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are going to eat this year, I believe, offensively. It starts with just the, motion that's going to be utilized across the board from Goddard to Saquon to Smitty, AJ. They're both comfortable playing inside, outside. I know people say like, oh, CeeDee Lamb plays inside and outside. Like AJ does it too. He's not asked to do it as frequently because we're pretty predictable. You go over there, beat your man. You go over there, beat your man. Have fun, have a good day. I think the middle of the field will be utilized. I think play action and under center. Now, listen, when I say that, it's going to be utilized more. The Eagles are always going to be a shotgun heavy team. It's just the tradition of way the NFL going. No team is under center more than shotgun anymore. But we were under centered a ridiculously small amount. We were in last place. We had 14 snaps the whole season. I don't know what that equates to percentages, but think about it. The offense takes what? At least I would say, 60 to 70 snaps per game, right? Okay. So let's just say on a low, 60 times 17. Well, no, Jalen was hurt this year, right? How many games did he miss?
No, I don't think he missed a game.
He missed?
No, I don't think he missed a game.
All right, well, 60 times 17, somebody do that. Somebody let me know what that is, but whatever that is, it's like what, 700-800? We were under center 14 times. 14.
Yes.
Like the person who was in 31st place was like at least 50 times under center. Like that's how the biggest difference. That's going to go up. It's not going to go up to like 50%, but it's going to go up. I'm expecting to be under center at least 100 times this year out of everything. And especially in certain packages with Saquon. But as much as I want to see the play calling that is going to be different and all the same toys we had last year, right? Goddard, AJ, Devontae, we've seen them be great. We're just going to see it more consistent under better play calling. But what I haven't seen and what I can't wait to see is Saquon Barkley, a guy who was who was a generational talent that got stuck behind a dumpster of a team and had to just drag it down the street. As we're going down the street in our riding a bicycle, he's keeping up with bicycles, dragging a dumpster. It's like ridiculous. And it's really not just the offensive lines, right? You're talking about when a defensive coordinator plays the Giants, they're not worried about Daniel Jones. They're not worried about whatever playmakers they got. They got no playmakers outside of them. So it's like the fact that you don't want to disrespect Saquon by not stacking the box, but how could you do that with these guys right here? Listen, I love Miles Sanders. I love Swift. But it's funny that, again, the Panthers are a bad team, but you've seen the difference. Look how bad Miles is
Facts.
His only year without us.
Facts.
Again, Swift in limited touches has his best year with an Eagles team with limited touches. Remember, people were holding run the ball signs and he broke his record. You know what I mean? And you could say, well, he got hurt. Well, guess what? At the point where he got hurt with the Lions, he was still ahead of. So like, even if he did get hurt, he still would have broke his record. Maybe not over 1,000, but broke his record. So it goes to show that we've had Barkley on our team for a month or two now. But I still don't realize it until when he rips off a nice run and then the very next play we go deep across the middle to a Smitty or a Goddard. And it's like, wow, we just seen a beautiful run. Then we see a play action pass across the middle. It's like everything in the first two plays that we've been asking for 17 weeks last year. And again, maybe Smitty or Goddard is wide open. We can't even say, wow, look how they broke they're wide open because of Saquon Barkley and vice versa. It's just, I think whoever was the first one to say the way Christian McCaffrey changed the game for the Niners is going to be similar. When somebody said that, I hung on to it, and people who say that's ridiculous. Saquon, I think it's legit going to be the same.
And the point is, I don't even think it's just legit. It's going to be better. Because Saquon was a more tired than a stouted type running back than even Christian McCaffrey when he came out. Like, this guy was a beast, dude. Like, we love Miles Sanders, right? Miles Sanders was this guy's backup.
And Miles had 1,300. 1,300 that Super Bowl season. 1,300.
It was his backup, though. Like, this guy's legit. And all Eagles Nation know, like, whenever the only guy we worried about on the damn team, like, for years. If Saquon is healthy and playing, we had a fucking problem, you know? And now that he's on the Eagles team, it's like, oh, this guy's not very good anymore. I'm telling you, and I said it I was saying that we should get Saquon before you even got Saquon. I was even saying that, like, no, we shouldn't get Saquon. He's injury prone. He's this and he's that. I'm like, no, if he's going to be available, the Eagles need to go grab this guy and go put him on a roster, and that's what we did, man. Like, that was a smart decision Howie Roseman ever did, because he don't need all them carries he had as a Giant. He had to have those carries as a Giant because he was their team. Like you said, we had My Booby, who we wanted him to get more carries, but he still was a Pro Bowler. You know what I'm saying? We had Swift. We still said he should get more carries, but he was a Pro Bowler. This guy is a whole nother caliber of player in terms of the running back position. He's a 3-down back. Those guys need to be rotated in. This is a 3-down back that don't need to carry because we got elite receivers on the outside, man. Like, his play is going to be phenomenal just for the simple fact that you got a Smitty, you got an AJ, you got a Dallas Goddard that no one's going to be able to stack the box on this guy, and he's going to take it loose. The year that Sanders had 1,300 yards, if you watch the highlights of Sanders, he wasn't even getting touched for like the first 5 yards because we have such a good offensive line. Now, I know Jason Kelsey's gone, but I promise all Eagles Nation that it's not going to be that much of a drop-off. You know, because he was a smaller guy that did his job at a high level, right? We got a bigger guy that don't need to do his job as high as level as Jason Kelsey. He just got to do the damn job, period. You know, you don't got to be elite to make things happen. You still got Lane Johnson that's going to be making things happen. You still got Mike Lotta that's going to be making things happen. You got Dickerson that's going to be making things happen. You know what I'm saying? The rest of his offensive line is still going to put the holes up. This guy's about to feast. He's never had a line like this. He never had receivers like this. He never had the talent at quarterback like this, man. Like, it's going to be so easy for him. It's going to be ridiculous. Like, I feel like he's going to have less carries and still produce more yards he's never produced in New York.
So, Mike, yes, we know that Jason Kelsey retired. So how much of a change is going to be? Like, do you think this offensive line took a step back because of not having, a Jason Kelsey? Yes, he did a lot of stuff that we had. Look, the way he moves around the corner, look, I think that Cam Jurgens could do the exact same thing. But, hey, it was a learning curve for Jason Kelsey to get to where he is, when he got retired. So what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like replacing Jason Kelsey is not just going to be easy. I mean, just as last year he was here, he's playing still at a Pro Bowl / All Pro level. Again, if anybody had to be the replacement, I think Cam Jurgens is like a dream come true. Just style, size, not as little baby, but still an undersized center who wants to get to the next level. We've seen him do it at right guard. He played a decent sample size first in 2023. He in his 600 and something snaps has yet to have a penalty. So the dude's like fundamentally sound. I didn't know that until the offseason when I was doing some research. I said zero penalties in 2023. That's interesting. All that being said, I'm looking at something, and this is a lot to ask, but Green Bay was lucky to have Brett Favre and then go to Aaron Rodgers. You know what I mean? Like you get rid of a Brett Favre after a decade of being who he is and get Aaron Rodgers. Could that be? That's a lot to ask, but we've seen before we ever saw him play the potential through what Jason Kelsey said. He's been under Stoutland, like learning from not just Stoutland, learning from Jason, playing alongside of Jason. Like if anybody has the tools, the mindset, and also the mentorism. I don't even know if that's a word. Like the being mentored. It's Cam Jurgens. Like it fits so good. Now right guard again. So you're replacing Kelsey with Cam, and let's just say Cam plays, 85% of what Kelsey did. That's a tremendous second year, right?
Yeah,
it might hurt us a little bit, but it's still better than what Barkley ever had. But how far is the right guard going to play from what Cam Jurgens? I think Cam Jurgens did a great job. Will Steen, Trevor Keegan, Matt Hennessy, who else is in the competition?
That was something I heard today too. They were like, the last 3 drafts, premium picks. I think it was from our boy Gate City. You know what I'm saying? Premium picks. Second round pick is still a premium pick in terms of all these guys that we're having to replace. And people forget, dude, we had a John Rain, we had a Trey Thomas, we had a JPP, we had all these guys that got replaced, and we didn't skip a beat. The Eagles been in one of the best lines of football for the last 20 years. It's not like it's not something new. There's not something new. Plenty of all-pro talent has left this off the line, and we still keep on ticking. So why will people think all of a sudden because of one all-pro lead that it's going to stop? That's what I don't get. Like, I know Jason Kelsey is a GOAT. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying any of these guys will ever step in and beat him. But remember, even Brandon Brooks left. You know what I'm saying? We still kept it up. Brandon Brooks was another good guard that we had. You know what I'm saying? Todd Herman's. Like, you can go Evan Matthews. There's a lot of good players that we let go. And by the time they went, we had a replacement for them. And they fit in seamlessly. So I don't really feel like the departure is really going to be that big. As long as we have Stoutland as our offensive line coach, man, for real. As long as we got Stout back there, I guarantee he's going to have somebody ready to play some football.
Yeah, and I think Steen should be ready. He was under Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Landon Dickerson, Jordan Mailata, Jeff Stoutland for a whole year. Not only was he under these guys for a year, he was thrusted into the starting lineup. Like he played a little bit, so he got his feet wet. We saw some good from Steen. We saw some bad for Steen. Now he gets a whole other offseason where he's the front runner for the job. So he's preparing his body different. You do all that when you're a starter compared to a backup, right? And it's year 2 under the system. So Alabama guy, drafted in the 3rd round.
Yep.
Stoutland liked him. I think he's the guy who's going to win it. I'm not saying you can't see no mix match. Mekhi Becton, the guy we signed from the Jets, I know he's signed to be our, what do you call that again? Swing tackle. But they said, they could look at trying him at guard. They're gonna start him at swing tackle, but you never know. But
I like Tyler Steen. Signed up that McMahon. That Jason Kelsey talked to him too as well. He's another undersized guy that he can even step in there and do something if he.
He's a center, and again, he's. I look at his tape, and I say, I see Kelsey in him, but again, I think that's a work in progress. That's something that Stout wants to keep on the roster for 2-3 years and see if he could develop And then if needed to be thrusted into action, hopefully he's good 3 years from now, whatnot. You know, he's a 6th-round pick, similar to Jason Kelce. They had a similar athletic score, but like nobody thought Kelce was going to be able to do what he did. And Howard Mudd saw that, right? Like Stalin didn't draft Kelce. That was Howard Mudd. But you never know. It's not easy to draft a Kelce again. But what I like about Cam Jurgens replacing Kelce is it's a Kelce, but a Kelce that came out of college with more BG's version of talent or eliteness, as you would say. He was scouted higher, right? You know, he wasn't. Kelce saw himself in him, but Kelce didn't go in the 2nd round. He went in the 5th or 6th round. You know what I mean? So, I think the offensive line is going to be in the top 10. I don't know where it will rank, but I got to still being around, 10 through 6 through 10. I'm not saying we're going to automatically be top 5, and by the end of the season, it might change, but I say fringe top 10 for the first couple weeks. And, and every week is important in the NFL. There's not much where you can be like, well, we could go through this little losing streak and be all right. Now, NBA, you got 81 games. You could lose 7 in a row. It doesn't matter. A month from now, you're sitting top of the East. You lose 3 in a row in the NFL, your season might be over.
Facts.
Clearly.
What about this number 3? What about this number 3 receiver, man? You know, we see Devontae Parker just retired when he realized that he was not going to make the team.
He's going to make the team anyway.
He's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to go hang out with my kids because this ain't going to happen here in Philadelphia. I ain't got no guarantee.
Did he give us the money back at least? Hey, did he give Howie the money back?
Shoot, the Patriots are paying us to take him.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we're going to collect this check and, I'm going to go have a good time, you know what I'm saying? With this number 3 receiver spot, do you believe that this number 3 receiver is on the team? I know everybody loves what they see out of Anaya Smith, you know what I'm saying? And even Johnny Wilson looked good because I was a huger fan for Wilson, to be honest with you, than I was a Smith, just because he was a bigger style receiver. And I feel like we already got those quick, Devontae Smith is fast as hell. AJ's fast as hell. We got the power, we got the speed, the slimness. You need that big guy that's going to be in a red zone type receiver and go out there and catch the football, in the end zone. So I was a little bit bigger on Wilson, being a Florida State guy that he actually put up some nice numbers over there in Florida State, to the point where it's like, I could see this guy coming in here and doing something. But, getting both of them, do you think, and even Paris Campbell, man, he did have a good year with the Colts. You know what I'm saying? Like, he had a good year where Paris Campbell scoring touchdowns, doing this thing. Like, do you think that we have that number 3 receiver on the team, or should we go out for a guy like Renfro? Hunter Renfro had a bad season last year. Before that, Hunter Renfro was one of the most talked about receivers in the NFL on the Raiders football team. You know what I'm saying? So they got some more receivers over there to kind of push them out of the way. But, there is still some talent out there. Do you think that Howie Roseman is going to make another move at the receiver spot?
I talked about it in my video. I think right now we have wide receiver 3 in house. It's Anaya Smith or Paris Campbell. Either one is fine with me because when we signed Paris Campbell, I wasn't like yes, but I was like, this guy's gonna be a Zacchaeus possible upgrade if he stays healthy. Like, I just think that he fits what we're doing, and he has. Zacchaeus was shifty, able to catch. And listen, he came up with some clutch catches. So I'm not trying to poo-poo Zacchaeus. Like, again, I say that like me knowing me, like when we got Zacchaeus, like getting Zacchaeus, my level of confidence and getting Paris Campbell, my level of confidence is higher for Campbell for sure. But I did see what Zacchaeus did, so I'm like, it is good stuff. That being said, Anaya Smith is. Aiden, go downstairs, Papa. My son just came upstairs. Anaya Smith is interesting. And I just talked about it in my video. Campbell in his career in the NFL, 69.1% he spent in the slot. And Anaya Smith, 70 point something he spent in the slot in college. So I think they both fit seamlessly for what we want to do. Now, Campbell has probably a little bit more speed for the seams, and he's a veteran, so he might get the first crack. But I do think that Anaya is a true weapon. I think he's very underrated with the ball in his hands. Hey, I don't think we're going to throw many screens, but if we do, I ain't mad at throwing screens at him with AJ and Goddard blocking. Not Smitty. AJ and Goddard blocking.
Not Smitty, exactly.
Not Smitty.
I hated that.
That being said, so I think he's going to finagle his way some touches. And if he can show up in moments better than a veteran, he can take it. But I think we got wide receiver 3 on the roster. My question is, what happens if again, and just because they played 70%, both of them in the NFL and in college in the slot, that means the other 30% they played outside. They can. But what if we do need a wide receiver to play outside for 3 or 4 games? What if we get, and knock on wood, fake wood and real wood, that AJ or Devontae don't got to miss. And listen, I'm not saying all year. I'm saying they got to miss 5 games, 4 games, right? Like, they're going to be back for the playoffs, but they got to miss some time. Do we feel comfortable with pairs playing outside? And then who plays wide receiver 3? Or do we feel good with a Johnny Wilson outside, a Joseph Nagata? Right now, that there are 2 outside wide receivers on the roster. Now, it's 2024, right? Justin Jefferson is just a slot receiver. No, but he's also shown the 6'1". Like, Anais Smith is a small dude. So I think they could play outside. I wouldn't be mad if the Eagles go out and get a veteran who's on the roster just in case of emergency. Now, here's my thing. If Smitty go down, AJ could carry the load with other receivers. And I think Smitty can carry the load with other receivers too. And we can't forget Dallas Goedert, who's not a wide receiver. But again, this is 2024. Anything goes.
And Saquon can get the ball in the backfield too.
If you got a guy like Dallas Goedert is a pass catcher. Saquon Barkley is a pass catcher. So you utilize things like that. So like, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Hey, look, if you need to, you what TJ Uzoma is at tight end and Dallas Goedert lined up outside. I seen Zach Ertz go out there and play the X position at times. You know, we were forced to because we had no receivers. But I think with a creative play caller, it's not a necessity. If we went out and signed a veteran guy like Devontae Parker, whose sole job is to just stay put and only play if certain guys go down, which I think that would have been his role. I think if he made the roster, he wasn't wide receiver 3. He was behind a Devontae or AJ for an emergency, you know?
I think he would have been like a rotating 3. Like, it's like kind of like last year.
Smitty,
and they still had Quez at 3. They had
let Parker get a catch.
They had Zacchaeus at 3. They had Quez at 3. They had whoever they wanted to throw in at 3. Because 3 really doesn't matter. But I feel like at any year, it will matter. Because if you look at Kellen Moore's offenses, the number 3 receiver has come in clutch. You know what I'm saying? Like, Gallup didn't have a 1,000-yard season until he had Kellen Moore, and he brought him in there, and he had a 1,000-yard season as a number 3 receiver when he had Cooper, when he had Lamb. You know what I'm saying? So I think even they talked about the San Diego Chargers. You know, they had the 2 top ones. I don't even want to think about the name. Mike Williams.
But the Chargers and the Cowboys, they have a Dallas Goedert. That's where, you know what I mean?
That is true. That's true. But I'm just saying at the same day that Dallas – they had a decent tight end at that time when they were the number 1 offense. When they were running.
They had dude from the Texans, Schultz.
And that was the only time you ever seen Schultz doing big things.
Top 12-ish guy. We got a top 7 guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But is he really? You know, because he hasn't really shown it. He hasn't been healthy the whole season. It just shows.
Well, I mean, I'm talking about talent when on the field. I can't help when he's hurt. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. If everybody says, oh, he never got 1,000 yards. But look at his numbers in the time he played. Just again, if he played 8 games and has this, just do the average and put it on. He would have cracked 1,000. His job is to stay healthy, and it's Callen's job to get him the ball. So got to do something too. But I just think that again, like I think the playmakers on offense we have now is suitable to go in the season. Like I thought Parker was a guy who wouldn't make the team, and if he did, he was just chilling on the bench as a veteran. So I don't think it's that big of a deal.
Who's going to be that tight end 2 spot if Goddard does go down? Is it going to be Alberto or is it going to Uzma?
I mean, we signed TJ Uzoma for a reason. He's not I still think with the Jets, he made some plays last year. I think he's suitable. He's a C- tight end. He's a guy that could be a red zone threat, you know, blah, blah, blah. And again, CJ Uzoma, did he ever play with the Smitty and the AJ on the side? So again, Goddard gets hurt. TJ Uzoma.
He played with Chase, right? He played with Chase Daniel, T. Higgins, those guys when he was 2 years ago.
Maybe his last year.
That's where everybody even know him from. Is from Cincinnati.
He stayed hurt, bro. He stayed hurt.
How many years ago? How many years he played on Cincinnati? Maybe the last year with Chase? He might have played 1 year with Chase.
Yeah,
I don't think he played multiple years.
He only played 1 year with the Jacks.
Yeah, last year, right? Wait, Aaron Rodgers not there?
Yeah. And before that, he was with Cincinnati. That's where I even knew him from.
Oh yeah.
I remember him catching touchdowns.
He's been in the league for 9 years, 10 years. He's been around. He played with Andy Dalton in Cincinnati. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, let's jump back over to the defensive side real fast. Our linebacker squad. You know, we talked about the line. We talked about the secondary. What about these linebackers, man? Do you think by the end of the season, Mr. Axman Jr. is going to be starting, maybe? Because I really feel like, you know, everybody's sleeping on White for one. White is going to be an all-pro again, period.
Yeah.
He's going to be an all-pro again. On this team with this talent, he's going to be an all-pro again. But what about the other two linebackers? You know what I'm saying? Do you think, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. can come in, and do you think Dean's going to be healthy enough to do it? How do you see the rest of this linebacker core shaping out?
I want to hear JC talk about Nakobe Dean before I do, because I want to see where he at.
Look, all right. Look, before I talk about that, right? Hey, when I heard that the Eagles was, just train up a little bit to draft Cooper, I was like, oh my God, we got our linebacker, because Adrian Cooper was there. I was like, oh my God, we are getting Cooper. I was so happy, and then I was like, okay. So
you would have preferred Adrian Cooper over Cooper DeJean?
Yes, only because we already had our corner. And right, we already had a corner. So our two biggest need was corner and linebacker. So I would think, first round talent, linebacker, come on. They are so hard to come by. So with that being said, Nakobe Dean, I don't even think he's going to start week 1. I think Jeremiah.
Damn, he said week 1. They're talking about giving him back to Green Dot. He's not even starting week 1.
I'm not giving up on Dean, all right? Look, I'm not going to give up on Dean. Like I said, every position on this defense is up for grabs. He's been hurt. He had his opportunity. And what do we see? Him on the sideline. You know what I mean? You have to be available. So it's going to become it's going to come down to Trotter versus Dean. Who could, I guess, learn whatever defense that Vic Fangio is trying to teach, who could get to the hole faster. I'm telling you, because Dean, to me, I want to root for him, but I haven't seen nothing to root for. So, I want to give somebody else a chance. But if it's healthy, hey, so be it. But that's my take on that. It's going to be Devin White, though. White is definitely, the guy. And it's going to be up to Dean and Trotter to battle it out.
Do you see Zach Bond? Could you see Fangio making it where he plays like in Fangio's eyes? It's Devin White, Zach Bond, then
I think that was
Nakobe Dean / Trotter.
Now I can see
all cap. He came out with
being like Ben Winkle. Ben Winkle. Remember Ben Winkle with the Dolphins?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that type of role. Like I could see him, playing that, because he does love these linebackers that's not traditional linebackers, but are some dogs, are not afraid to do the dirty work.
But that guy was outside linebacker. This guy came out and said that this guy's gonna be our starting. Like, he's not starting, but he's like, this guy's gonna be our middle linebacker.
He said he can see him as an inside linebacker.
Yeah, that's what he said. He considered linebackers the inside. He don't consider the outside linebackers is really linebackers. You consider those guys the edge.
I mean, he talked about
Nicole guy is not gonna be no goddamn starter. Goddamn it! Like, what the hell are you talking about? That was all cap. I probably put him up to it to go out there and say the first name. Like, listen, I know every Eagle fan would listen to this guy when he was talking, and the fact that he used that name as the first name, you had to go cap. You had to go cap rather than Joe. I was like, this guy's capping really hard right now.
He got him for a reason. I'm telling you,
pretty bad. Like, you want to talk about Bond? You know who we want to talk about. We want to talk about White. We want to talk about Dean. We want to talk about Jeremiah Trotter Jr. And this guy came out with Bond first. That was here.
Yo, he even forgot about Trot. Like he was like, we got Zach Bond. He was like Oren Burks. He was like Nakobe Dean's getting back to health. And he was like, am I missing somebody?
He did.
That was straight cap. That was straight cap.
Yeah, we drafted Trotter.
Yo, hey, do you think that was a forced pick though, Trotter?
That's straight out the mud from Philly. Yeah, hell yeah. That was how he chose in Lombardi.
Dude, Trotter had great tape. He's one of the best cover linebackers in the draft.
Yeah.
He played on an elite team, Clemson's an elite primetime team. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did his thing in college. Like, this, I don't feel like the pick, like, should have been a pick because of his name. I feel like even if we never had a Jeremiah Trotter Sr. on our team, that should have been a linebacker we should have been looking at. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was a top 3 linebacker or top 5, depending on what list you want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Some people had him higher than others, but the dude was a good football player at Clemson. Like, he did lay the wood down at Quinton Pauls. You know what I'm saying? Like, he did lay it down at Clemson. He was, you know, all over the football field, and he made a lot of special plays there. I don't feel like it was all a name thing with Trotter. I think he is a good linebacker. I wanted Trotter early. I thought we should have got Trotter in the 3rd round, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we had what 2 second-round pick, I thought we should have traded back and got Trotter in the 3rd round, you know, and all good. The fact that we got him in the 5th round, that's even better. You know what I'm saying? Just like when Dean dropped, I thought we should have got Dean a little higher, but when Dean dropped, that was even better because we got him
And
at
now we see
later.
why he dropped. And now we see why he dropped.
Hey, yo, how about
It's not over for Dean. It's not. It's not over for him. How he still has faith? Oh my God.
How about Peyton Wilson's drop? That was crazy, right? Like,
Yeah.
he to me, he was supposed to be, you know, barring any injury, he was supposed to be linebacker 2 to Edrin Cooper. You know what I mean? And there were some slight guys who had him over Edrin Cooper just because of how he does everything. Cooper, you know, a freak athlete, speed, twitch. But Peyton Wilson, like, he's just like next and no ACL. He don't got no ACL in one leg or some shit like that. I don't know. That's crazy. But to Dean and Trotter, here's my thing. Now I'm with you in the sense that Trotter's tape at Clemson was good.
Yeah.
He's a good player, but you can't tell me that, like, Howie, the organization wanted him more than Fangio. Like, it is what it is. Like, I just think, like,
you think it's a helper pick for real, Mike?
No, I don't think Fangio didn't want it. I think Fangio was like, yeah, he's a solid guy. But Howie's like, how solid? And he's like, I could work with. He's like, I just think, yo, you seen Howie clapping. Like, listen, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I mean,
you said he's a homer pick, goddamn.
No, it's not, because we picked him in the 5th. I think it would have been a suit. I think it's a still steal to me because I had him. Listen, I didn't have him honestly had him as my, like, again, barring injury. It was Cooper, Wilson. I had Junior Colson over him. And I think there might have been even one more guy. I had him as my 5th linebacker, and I said I would like him in the 4th round. Got him in the 5th, so I ain't mad. The game is good. I just think that, I mean, Trotter Jr., like, we got him in the 5th and we traded up. Like, once he felt that long, like, I mean, he probably would have felt to us if we didn't trade him. I don't know how far back we were, but how it was like 5th round, he's still here. I got to go do it. His dad's going to kill me. You know what I mean? But here's my thing. I think it's going to be good competition. Yes. I think the linebacker room is wide open. I think they're going to say it's wide open but Devin White is king in his, you know what I mean? And I do think we get in clean slate Devin White. We get in prove it deal Devin White.
Yeah.
We get in
all pro.
Yes, I really do.
Super Bowl champion.
Super Bowl champion Devin White.
Leader of the defense.
Team captain Devin White.
Devin White.
As for Nakobe Dean,
oh man,
they're gonna force him as linebacker 2.
Mm-hmm.
Can he stay healthy? That's the first thing I gotta see. I've seen some good, I've seen some bad, but it's too little of NFL tape to really judge. The dude got hurt at halftime week 1 against the Patriots. You can't tell me because he got beat over the middle 2 times in 2 quarters that he's trash, but you also can't tell me he's great from it. So like, there's not, and then he comes back and Kelly Green, and he gets hurt again. So I mean, how many? Like, listen, his rookie season he played 30 snaps. His starting season, I don't know, but maybe 35, 40, 50 snaps is not enough tape to tell me he's good or bad. So I start with health. If I can get 5 straight games, we'll know if he's trash or not. Because you can't say, well, he got 2 years of NFL at least, NFL game prep, NFL study. He's been talking with NFL players. So if he's playing 5 games and he gets benched, then he's done. And it sucks to say that now. You might be done with only like 80 snaps under your belt because it's 80 snaps in 3 years. You know what I mean? So my thing is, I'm giving him the benefit of doubt. I went back and watched him in college because I hear so many people. My comment section is crazy.
Hey,
like,
D was legit. Come on.
Yo, and again, I picked up on him using Jordan Davis as a buffer for real. Like, I'm gonna break that down as we get closer to training camp if I start hearing things more. All that being said, I still think he's a baller, but he got to get on field. I'm not here to say he's gonna be the steal of the draft for 2022. I'm not here to say anything crazy, but I'm the guy who's willing to see him on paper as linebacker 2, believing that he can hold it down with who's on the roster and maintain it, and then at least show me for a couple weeks straight. That being said, Trotter's going to be on him the way they want to use Zach. Baum's going to be on him, and don't be surprised if OTAs we start seeing like, damn, these linebackers really do suck. Like they're saying it behind closed doors in their head. Don't be surprised if we don't see June, July. Hey, what up, Zack Cunningham? You still don't got a. You don't got a.
No! Don't do it. Right? Don't do it. And we gotta bring back Zack. That means Junior was a bum. That means freaking Dean was a bum. And we gotta go back to Zack Cunningham.
No. Look, if Zack Cunningham comes here, then you really think, what's wrong with Nakobe Dean? But you can't listen, there's no poo-poo in Jeremiah Trotter. He's a 5th round rookie. He has 2-3 years to see what we got.
Yeah. If
we get Zack Cunningham, then you could question the health of Nakobe Dean. I'm going to question the health of Nakobe Dean before I question the talent. But there's going to be questions about Nakobe Dean if Zack Cunningham comes. Now, if we play true 3-4 and we see a lot of Nakobe Dean switching in and out with Zack Cunningham, sometimes 3 linebacker sets is not, then it's different. But and look, Zack Cunningham, another one.
Nobody. Nakobe Dean better come get his goddamn job. Or he go
be on the unemployment
line for real. Unemployment line, getting freaking food stamps for his family, man. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yo, but was Zack Cunningham bad when he was healthy? Now again, he's not guy getting hurt.
Well, in coverage that one game, yo, Debo, hey, remember that 49ers game? Yo, that was on Cunningham.
No, man. Hey, it's been great football talk. I got one more for you, Mike, man. The NFL schedule, man. How do you like the schedule, man? You know, how do you like the week 5 bye? Do you see it? What kind of way too early predictions can you give us for the Philadelphia Eagles?
How many games you going to?
Man, I need to get to a couple of these games. I've been out of going to the games for a minute. Last game I went to was the Philly sports trips in Washington.
Yeah, I was there.
See us smack up on Carson Wentz, but I'm definitely going to go to some games, so I'll get that tallied up soon. As for the schedule, I do not like the 5th week bye, but it is what it is. I think going over it more in depthly after I was live, noticing that we don't play anybody off their bye is pretty good for us. Like last year. 5 primetime games, I like it. More 1 o'clock games, I like it for tailgating purposes. I think, shout out to Simone. I saw her say that on LB stream. The fact that we played Dallas and Philly the second time, to me, is nice.
That is nice.
And you know, I like the way it's set up. Even with that 5th round bye week, I still like the way it's set up, minus that. But I can see us coming out the bye week, which is a perfect spot for a team like Cleveland at home, who I think Cleveland's going to be better this year. They got a good defense. Chubb might be better. Back. I don't know where Chubb is, but Watson in year 2, I think he'll have his football leg. So I think Watson will be playing some good football this year. That being said, our bye, although it's super early, it's coming at a spot where we could use it to go against a good team like Cleveland and maybe start the season 5-0. And then after Cleveland is the Giants. So that's auto win right there.
And we do have a mini bye in between there, like later on in the week, on the season when we play, I think the Commanders or something, like one of the Thursday night games.
Thursday night game, I think it is, yeah.
In between there. So I like it. I mean,
and they did put some of those type games in there, I will say. You know what I'm saying? Even like, we're playing on Friday, but then we don't have to play the following week, you know what I'm saying, until like whatever.
Monday,
yeah. So we're getting a little extra time out in terms of that. I hate the bye week being at week 5. I freaking hate it. I think it's dumb as hell. I don't think no team should have a week 5 bye, for real. Like no team in the NFL should have a week 5 bye. It needs to be at least 7.
The Cowboys can.
No, it's a 7 or above. You know what I'm saying? Like play some real football. Like by week 5, come on. Most teams are just getting into full swing in week 5, and now you got to tell them you got to go on a bye. And what happened if we get late injuries? It's like you don't have the extra bye week to get these guys healed up to come back and play, where it don't matter. Like, the end of the season where it matters, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can go 5-0, 6-0, obviously 10-1, and then have a late season slump and got some people get hurt or whatnot. And now you don't have an extra bye week to get guys healthy.
But my final score prediction is, for now at least, 13-4 is what I had us going.
Okay. Yeah.
What do you guys have?
14-3, baby. But we could go 15-2. But I'm saying I'm standing on it. Like the last time I predicted this, it happened. 14-3, Eagles win a Super Bowl. I'm repeating on it.
I see 13-4. 12-5. I mean, it could go. Look, we're gonna win some games. We're not supposed to win. We're gonna lose some games. We're not supposed to lose. So that's how it works. So,
how do you think we're doing in the division, though?
Listen. The Eagles are set. Like we're going to lose to I could see us doing. Oh wow, you beat the Bengals. Oh, you beat the Ravens, or you beat the whatever, and then you slip up against we will lose to a trash team, not a trash team, but we'll slip up and lose to a non-playoff team. It happens to the best of the best.
It does.
I want to sweep the division this year. I don't know about you guys. I think we have the talent to do it. I think this could be that year that we finally do it and sweep the division. I don't see Dallas beating us. I don't care what anybody say. Forget the Cowgirls. They're not beating us this year. We're going to sweep them for sure. But I do feel like Dallas is dropping from number 2 to number 3, or number 1, because they were division champions last year, to number 3. Because I do think the Commanders will take over their number 2 spot this year.
Yeah, by default. Hey, division champ. Hey, with the asterisk next to it.
He froze up on him. Where you go?
Yeah, he froze up.
He's like, "What'd you just say?" And he froze up. He's like, I must be speaking that blasphemy. Because he definitely jumped, froze up on us. Let's see if we got him back here. Let's see.
Nah, he still froze.
But anyways, that's what I do think is going to happen, man. Hey, just look to all you guys been in here with us. You're still rocking strong. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Hit super chat, whatever you need to do to support your Philadelphia Eagles content creators. We're out here doing our best for you. We do represent the Eagles to the finest, capabilities out here. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, 14-3 is my record prediction. I'm just going to stand on that for the rest of the year until proven otherwise. And it's always 20-0 until proven otherwise. It was 16-0, then turned 17-0. But it's 20-0 until proven otherwise. But my realistic pick is 14-3, baby. I think we're gonna lose 3 games. I can't tell you who, because I don't think we're gonna lose to Ravens. Everybody says that's a guaranteed loss. I don't see us losing to Ravens this year. That's a guaranteed loss. We're gonna lose to Packers. I don't really see us losing to Packers this year. So, like you guys said, it's gonna be that team that you didn't really expect to lose to. Like I do think, like you said, coming out of that bye, feeling confident, we could lose to the Cleveland Brown type squad. You know what I'm saying? Like Dougie P, I think we're going to beat him, but that's another possibility. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know where the loss is coming, because I would like to say we go undefeated, but that's not realistic. So 14-3, and I don't really care where the 3 games lie. Hopefully it's not in the division though, because I do want to sweep the division this year.
look. Either way, it's going to be a good season. I really think that we're going to put some historic numbers up, especially on the offensive side. I do think that this is going to be that Jalen Hurts' best season as a professional quarterback, even though he's on his third offensive coordinator. In like 3 years, 4 years. I do think that this offense is set up that Howie Roseman, and matter of fact, I do want to ask you one last thing. Nick Sirianni, man, what do you see his role? What do you see his role on this team? Is he as a lame duck coach that everybody say he is, or does he still have a purpose on his team?
I think he has a purpose. Again, look, I think, again, people say stay away from the play calling. I understand that. But because they want it to be like 22. But when he gave up the play calling in 21 to Steichen, he did play calling in game. That does not mean they're not on the sideline in crucial situation. We don't know when, where, and how. But I guarantee you, any head coach who had play calling and gave it up, right? But who's a part of the game plan throughout the week, they make some decisions. Like they're talking on the sidelines and they say, okay, what's your strategy? We get the ball back. Defense is doing their thing. We get the ball back. What is your strategy? They run through some stuff. I need him to be involved the way he was involved in 2022 because the offense was good and everything was flowing. Again, I think in 2023, Brian Johnson did call the plays, but what I think happened was the playbook got smaller. I think the game planning was more predictable. And I think Sirianni using some of that same advice talking, which I thought he did with Steichen, felt like maybe Steichen that beat Brian Johnson as equivalent to Steichen. So instead of again, you bouncing off ideas with people and you're like, oh, I didn't think about that. Boom, 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 boom. I think him bouncing off with Steichen, he trusted him and said, I'm going to go your way. Where Brian Johnson said something, he was quick to say, nah, let's do it this way. More stubborn. All that being said, I think.
What's up, nephew?
The scheme has to change a little. Kellen Moore has to be the guy calling the plays, but I do think game planning throughout the week is going to be a joint thing. Not just Kellen, Kellen and Nick, but also Kevin Patu, all the guys who were involved. I just think that having Shane Steichen, who's already been done doing it, like if Shane told Nick, I think we should go this route or bring this in to the game plan for this Sunday as well. Nick said, you right. When Brian Johnson offered insight, he said, nah, I remember how we used to do it, just more stubbornness. And so I think it's going to be more of a collaborative effort. It's going to be good. Now, I understand the premise. Shane leaves, offense is bad, stay away. But I think it got to be a more heavily laid on Kellen calling plays in game and changing up the system a little bit like Shane did. But I still think that Nick Sirianni is going to be, he's a head coach. He's always in charge of the timeouts. Got to continue doing what he did with that. Going forward on fourth down, that's Sirianni. That's not Kellen. That's not ever going to be Kellen. And guess what? When Kellen looks at Sirianni on 3rd and 4, if you are not in a spot to go for it, you're going to probably throw the ball on 3rd and 4. Kellen Moore might throw the ball on 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, because you want to pick up that first down and you got playmakers. But if Nick looks at him and says, no matter what happens, we're going for it on 4th down. Well, now Kellen changed. He might run the ball because if he picks up 3 yards, now it's 4th and 1, 4th and 2, and you ain't stopping a Saquon Hurts brotherly shove. So again, think about it. Sirianni's going to be, no matter, even if you say get away from play calling, if Sirianni tells Kellen Moore we're going for it on 4th down, regardless what happens on 3rd down, it changes what is in Kellen Moore's head. You know what I mean? So he'll always be involved there. And I just need him to not be yelling at people on the sideline. I need him to make sure Dom is next to him and keeping him in check. Again, I'm making jokes. I think Nick Sirianni is a player's coach. I think he keeps everything I think he's really neat. Like, I think he's shown he could do a good job. He just can't do it all. He's not a guy like Andy Reid who can run the organization, right? But coaching to his what do you call that? His when somebody does something well, what is it?
His strength?
Yeah, you staying with his strengths, but having coordinators, I think he's a legit coach. When he has to get out of his comfort zone, he gets too frustrated. And remember, this dude does wear his heart on his sleeve. He's a guy like
he's us.
Yes, and so when you wear your heart on your sleeve and you start to get all frustrated and you realize it's your system that's messing up and you can't really, you get out of care, you start to lose it, you start to unravel. And so I think he's a guy who can be unraveled, but that's why you got to keep him only worried about his strengths. And I believe he's a good coach. Look, nobody talks about
cheerleader,
huh? So
he's a good cheerleader.
So what about Jim Harbaugh? What about Harbaugh? Does Harbaugh call defense?
Nope.
BG, does Harbaugh call
Harbaugh? What are you talking about? Which one?
Man, you know the Harbaugh we're talking about.
You talking about the Ravens Harbaugh? The special teams?
Huh?
I'm pretty sure the Ravens got a pretty damn good special teams. I'm pretty sure he's still calling that over there.
No, he doesn't. Hey, Mike Tomlin.
Tomlin is a quarterback guru, but even though his quarterbacks suck.
All I'm saying is this.
But the problem with that is Mike Tomlin, they went into the fact knowing that this guy was like that. All these guys started their coaching career like that. They weren't calling plays from the jump. You know what I'm saying? We signed this guy because he had this new offense that was supposed to be revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? He
never even called plays in Indianapolis.
So how did you hire him for that?
What do you mean? And then he was offensive coordinator, wasn't he?
He didn't call plays.
But he still was offensive coordinator. We got his revolutionary.
No, he was on paper. Hey, on paper. On paper, offensive coordinator, Mike. On paper. But on Sunday, he was in the back somewhere.
That's not what they preached to us when we signed him as our head coach.
BG,
let me ask you this. He came in talking about, I'm going to bring all these offensive plays that are going to be great, and he had to bench himself halfway through the season. Come on, guys.
All right, BG, did you like Nick Sirianni in 2022, yes or no?
Yeah, he loved them.
He's a motivator. I did like the flowers. I did. Flowers in the air.
Hey, listen. I didn't like the flower thing, but now that's my John, dog.
Exactly.
But look,
hey, man,
I think you're gonna get a 2022-ish Nick Sirianni. Yeah. And again, now what if Kellen Moore and Vic and Fangio get poached? The one thing I can say about this, Fangio looks like this is his last stop. So whatever years he got left in coaching, he's rocking out in Philly. So if we can go ahead and win a Super Bowl, maybe he's like, you know what? Let me run it back. I'm home. Kellen Moore, you could say he's poachable, but like normally you go from OC to head coach. He went from OC from Dallas to OC at San Diego, LA to OC here. So maybe he's not poachable for head coach. The only way he's leaving Philly is head coach. So guess what?
Out of the two, he is the one that's possible leaving. I don't think Fangio's going nowhere. I think, like you said, he talked about he want to retire here in Philly. And I think he's going to give his best and his all at the end of the year for Philly. But like you said, like people do worry about the offense, but you got to realize the offense is going to be good regardless. The offense was even good in a down year last year. You know what I'm saying? Like
it was still top 10.
Our receivers went over 1,000 yards, man.
It was
like,
still top 10.
Our offense was still good.
It was look, in a down year where we hated the offense, it was top 10. So we were still better than 22 teams offensively. All that being said, let me just say one more thing about Kellen. Kellen went from 3 different organizations and didn't get a promotion. So I'm gonna say this: if he does good with the Eagles, well, he did go. Listen, every year he was with the Cowboys, they had a top 7, top 5 offense. That didn't get him a head coaching job. Then in LA, he did some good things with Herbert, but they weren't top 10 in offense. And he's still an OC. And one thing that our organization does really, really good. Exactly. But you know what our organization does really good is we're not afraid to pay coordinators. Why do you think the best offensive lineman in the world, coach in the world, he could be he could get a promotion somewhere else? but he's okay with being an offensive line coach because we pay our guys good. So here's my thing. If Nick Sirianni could be 2022, Nick Sirianni, VNGO wants to retire in Philly, so he's here for a couple more years. Kellen Moore realizes, shit, I was top 5, top 10 for 8 years, and I never got a head coaching job. I'm going to stay in Philly because if he does do good in Philly, there's going to be a pay raise because that doesn't count in the cap, and Jeff Lurie's balling too. So I can see him hanging around too. Keep this core together for 3 years. We just extended people, and let's have a fun.
Hey, he could be like Reed too. Remember, Reed left, right, and realized he had to give up the offensive coordinator spot, right? And then he gave up the offensive coordinator to Bieniemy, but then he went back to calling the plays for Kansas City again. So maybe it's one of them things like that where he takes a seat back, step back, let some other people come in and run some good offenses for him. And then, maybe if Kellen Moore does get, plucked as a head coach all of a sudden, then he can come back and be that offensive coordinator.
Look, I like it, man. Look, I just can't wait to see, preseason, the season start. I mean, I'm definitely going to the Brazil game. I already got my flight. You know what I mean? You already got that,
right? I'm like, this guy's a boy.
Look, I just gotta get the game tickets though. But already got my flight. The worst case scenario, I'm gonna be out there for a week. You know what I mean? Hey, a whole vacation week in Brazil. Hey, it is what it is. But
so you booked
I'm going to home game
around that time, and you're like, worst case scenario, I can't watch the game, but I can watch it from my hotel sipping.
Yeah, hey, I mean, shoot. I mean, hey, you can go to the tailgate. Hey, whatever it is, you know what I mean? Hey, a week in Brazil, who's gonna take it, right? So I definitely got my flight because that was gonna be.
So you're staying in a whole week though?
Yeah.
And then hotel booked everything.
Like we fly into
all the games, do all the cool shit.
I think we're going to Rio, and then like a couple days before we're going to Sao Paulo. So
I want to go to the home opener. I went to the home opener last year. I want to go to the home opener in Philly. If I don't go down, for sure going to the New Orleans game the next week.
Yeah, that's the other one we're trying to go
to. I'm going to go one of those two games for sure, 100% positive. I want to go to home opener because that's what I want to make it a tradition to go to all the home openers. And that was the home opener. Last year I went, and I want to go this year. And after that, I want to go to 4 games this year, period. I don't know. I want to go to a Dallas Eagle game, whether it's in Philly or it's in Dallas. I want to go to one of those 2 games for sure. But I like the fact that it's in Philly late, so then that give me a chance to go ahead and get out there. So I want to go to 4 games this year, and hopefully the Eagles win all 4 games. Because my record right now is what? 2-1. 2-1. The games I went to. They lost the very first game against the Washington Commanders. Remember that night, JC? When you're like, hey, BG, we're coming into the game. Everybody's going to the game. I'm like, what game? I was so drunk.
This was passed out.
I was so drunk in that game. But that was my first ever home Eagles game, and it was very fun. And I shout out to Forfeit Jock, and it got me slaughtered. And but I definitely want to go back to the tailgate and having fun with Philly.
Yeah, I'm going to the Ravens one because it's right down the road from me. I live in Maryland, so the Ravens is right down the road, and the Commanders is right down the road. So I'm going to those 2, besides the Brazil one. So we'll see, man.
But we're out of 40 hand. I know everybody's done went over their time for show, man. Salute to Philly Mike for stopping by, gracing us with his presence. Salute to you, my guy. Go and shout out to Philly Mike, man. Hooked me up, man. Gave me some good advice, man. I can't thank you more for that, man. So yes, everybody get to me, man.
It was the worst month of my life.
Yeah, it was the worst 6 months for my life. Man, it was about to be another 6 months if you didn't give me that piece of advice, my guy. So salute to you, my guy. Man, hey, let's just everybody go to their final thoughts and let's get the hell out of here. Hey, man, I want to say salute to all you guys, man. The Eagles are going to be that team this year. We're going to do our big one this year. It's going to be awesome. And it's another year like 2022. I swear to you, the letdown that they had last year, I'm on full, board with Brian Dawkins. Like you said, when you have a season like that, the letdown like that, all the leaders will stand up. All the leaders will show up and show out. And I think this team, with adding new leaders like Saquon Barkley and the rest of these guys, they're going to go out there and they're going to handle their damn business. And we're going to be proud to be Eagles fans once again. And this time we're going to make it to Super Bowl. We're going to actually win it. We're gonna be the guys that stop Patrick Mahomes and these guys from getting a 3-peat to be this dynasty team again. Remember last time it was Tom Brady and Brady won us. It was a fixed game. I still say it was a fixed game. Brady won us, but this year they're not gonna do that to the Eagles. They're gonna let us go there and we're gonna go win that thing.
Yeah, I mean, look, I like it, man. Look, I like it, Mike. Any last word?
Hey, I
The
can't say
$5
anything.
super chat, my guy. Much love to you, my brother. Super
Yeah,
chats are back. I love it, Mike. I love you. I love you, Mike. They're back. They're back, baby. Super
They're
chats are
back.
back. I love you, Mike.
Yeah, so I mean, I can't say anything better than that. Sign me up for a 2022 repeat minus winning the big game in the Super Bowl. Again, we got all the tools. Again, OTAs, some live reporting supposed to happen tomorrow at 12:45. That's when the practices should be live, guys. Some of the beat writers reporting it, and hopefully the beat writers get their little baby clips because they don't really do nothing. But hopefully the Eagles drop some gems to us. They're what do you call it? Content creation department has been dropping some cool gems and whatnot. So hopefully they drop some gems. Definitely want to see again the foundation be built right in front of us. And I do like the mandatory camps in June, right? Something we haven't done under Nick Sirianni. You heard Vangio said I'm trying to push for some more practice.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So this is
I was sad that was the only thing they clipped. They showed they did 31 goddamn push-ups. I counted them. 31 push-ups, and that tournament was over. I don't give a damn how many workouts you were doing. 31 push-ups, and you guys making it seem like it was a competition. I was really sad to see that. I didn't think you need to post that.
Yeah, I do.
Wait, that's how many they did? I never counted.
I counted. I'm like, wait a minute, because it didn't seem like very long the first time.
It was like one.
That wasn't very many push-ups. I'm like, and I went back and I watched. I'm like, that was 31 goddamn push-ups. Like,
well,
why
that's
the fuck
Trevor Keegan.
are you
That's
guys
Trevor
losing,
Keegan.
guys?
You know,
But 31 goddamn push-ups.
Gabe Hall could have kept going. You saw him. He could have. Gabe Hall could have kept going. Keegan gave up. So
Eagles play, but they stopped.
Yo, I like the fact that the swag is back, man. Yo, the swag of this team is back, man. You know, AJ Brown, you know what I mean, putting in the work. Hey, Devontae Smith locked in. Chauncey Gardner, like the trendy competition. Like the swag is back, man. And that's what was missing from this team towards the end of last season was all the fun with all the swag. And now it's back. With that being said, 2022, it looks like the swag is back. Swag, come on.
Turn that swag on. Yes, for sure. Hey, and shout out to the Pacers tonight. We better win that game 1, baby. I love you guys. Pacers beat the Knicks. I was so happy about it. And that's a little basketball scoop I just want to throw in there. I mean, I'm a huge Pacers fan. And we ain't been in this situation in a minute, so you don't want to celebrate. So shout out to my Pacers, baby. Let's shout out to my Pacers.
all pace it out. Yeah. Shout out to
Am I Reggie Miller,
Halliburton's a beast.
The 31 came from Reggie Miller, just for y'all that didn't know. Birdgang 31 is Birdgang Reggie Miller, basically, what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, much love to you guys, man. Salute to all you guys for stopping by watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe for all channels, man. We're definitely going to be back next week for episode 28. You best believe that. And, you know, just check out our content. Philly Mike, you know, everybody know where to find you at, but go ahead and tell everybody where to find you at before we get out of here.
Just type in Philly Mike in the search bar or Philly Talk Podcast. I should pop up. Appreciate y'all for having me on The Truth. It's been a minute since I did any collab other than and even me and LB, we swear we're going every week, but then we do it and we don't do it for a month. So it's hard to stay on that scheduled program for streams now. But I feel like this season's gonna be worth getting back to doing my, you know, streaming more often.
And we definitely, after OTAs or whatnot, we definitely gonna try to get you back on here on The Truth. I want to get both of y'all on here, man. I hit LB up trying to get both of y'all on here. We need to have some truth GOAT talk. Yeah, I think everybody would love to see that too, for sure. So before the season go, talk to your boy LB, because I know he listens to you more than he listens to me. And talk to your boy, and let's get this shit started. You know what I'm saying? For real, you know. So, hey, man, salute to all you guys. Like I said at the end of my video, fly, Eagles, fly.
Words.
And we out. Peace.
What's going on, everybody, man? And welcome to the very